Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. In the bottom right hand corner we root QXC as the red Terran. Upper left hand corner we have Incontrol as the blue protoss, and both giving the good luck buddy big smiley face. And oh, almost like your mom joke. Apparently from Incontrol. This is on Delta Quadrant, just a random replay I found. I'm actually testing out some new software, and hopefully the audio balance is working out on it, although who knows, and hopefully everything will, thanks, Incontrol. And you enjoy the chatter, by the way. The chatter is always entertaining with Incontrol alongside QXC, known for being the aggressive player, early game Incontrol, knowing for his early game psychological attacks through typed text. Good luck to you too. Oh, almost like your mom joke. But anyway, love that guy. Check him out at ghostcoaching.com. Give him a big shout out. Looks like he's going to scout the bottom left-hand corner, by the way. Sorry I didn't get to any casting over the break. I really wanted to. I actually wanted to live stream as well. But I had the weirdest virus I've ever had in my entire life. I would say it's the mildest, actually. I didn't even think I was sick until my wife started getting the exact same symptoms, which was basically kind of a lot of soreness. And a lot of fatigue is really what it came down to. Like, I seriously slept 16 out of 24 hours over a 4-day period, basically. So slept a lot, which is normal behavior for me sometimes, but not recently. And she never sleeps that much. But anyway, I digress. Looks like Incontrol just now scouting the base. But yeah, tons of technical difficulties, illness. I'm actually working out some technical stuff now, so hopefully this all comes out beautiful. Using a new recording program, actually, because Fraps has been giving me so many issues lately. Looks like QXC defending that pressure fairly well. Is only taking a little bit of damage on that SCV and that probe. Still managing to stay alive from Incontrol, but we'll see for how long. Looks like QXC scouting that upper right-hand corner. He's going to come across Incontrol's base immediately afterwards. Incontrol not doing anything too crazy. Looks like he's just playing extremely standard single gateway assimilator. Alongside QXC has decided not to seal up his front door. It tends to be very popular to avoid stalker pressure, but it tends to be a little bit more popular on this map because of the large distances, but for mid-game aggression, and because of large distances for the scouts. Sometimes you can seal it out, but don't ask me, I'm not a pro. Speaking of that, though, I'm going to start getting some shows. Essentially, I realized what I should probably do is live stream more, because mostly what I've been doing is I've been freeze, and okay, there we go. And mostly what I've been doing is this commentary, and I realize I actually want to play games too. I actually still haven't done my placement matches, if you guys can believe that. I've only done other stuff. And so what I'm going to try to do is combine the two and actually live stream placement matches and show you guys I'm just as terrible as you guys. Second gas early from Incontrol, right in QXC's face. So QXC going to see it and probably going to expect early robotics facility play, perhaps. Perhaps looks like initial stalker being built as well as that warp gate upgrade. In the meantime, just a single probe to scout on the front door for Incontrol. 2 Marines have additionally been created to block that out, and QXC looks like he is opening up with a factory, just hacking on his second gas, and we'll see what he does with this. I almost want to say, oh, okay, we're going to see some Banshees here, but I have seen a lot of variable play with later Hellions, and some other creativities, and it looks like we're actually seeing more Marines rather than seeing a tech lab alongside. So it's very, very possible that we're not going to see, okay, yeah, we are going to see early Banshee play. Awesome. Don't feel quite so silly. Incontrol starting to move forward with that Zealot, with that Stalker as well. He has actually tacked on a gateway and a robotics facility, so it looks like he's going to go 2-gate robo, and should be fairly successful against these early Banshees. Looks like an SCV somehow for QXC managing to sneak around the corner to provide some additional scouting information. QXC feeling very uncomfortable, so actually building a bunker on his front door, and for all the praise I've given this program, having some issues all of a sudden here. Go figure. Factory lifted off. Looks like it's going to be a bunker sealing on the front door. He's just checking out that natural expansion, which is a huge amount of information. He's actually more or less has a really good idea of what Incontrol's up to. Essentially knows he's at sealed 2 biz. And this is a completely open ramp, which is absolutely huge. If QXC can just take the opportunity to run up here while there are no stalkers or anything else to really impede his way. It looks like, unfortunately, he is building Banshees, hasn't upgraded Cloak yet. Let's see if he does it with this set of resources. Let me actually bring up the production tab for you guys so you can see what's going on. Unfortunately, that Observer already going to be out in the field to help against those Banshees, and there's already plenty of Stalkers. But the thing is even with Banshee play like this, against Stalkers, no, did that SCV get scouted? I think it might have. The thing is even with Banshee play without cloak, the thing, they can just cover so much territory so quickly, and as a result, it forces your Protoss opponent to stick back no matter what, more or less. He has to, it kind of forces him more towards the defensive slot, so it can open up the natural expansion as a result. Looks like a second bunker, so QXC still feeling like he's going up against kind of an all-in scenario, whereas Incontrol is in fact opening up his destructible debris and getting a couple sentries, which is unfortunate because he did have this SEV to scout the front door, but this could very, very much hurt him. Looks like moving out with that Banshee now, he will get some scouting information with it. Incontrol spotting the starport with that tech lab. It doesn't. Let's see if he can get his observer back in time to help against that cloak. And still 2 bunkers on the front door to defend. So kind of odd play there, at least on the front from QXC. He's also building along the exterior, so actually trying to steal his back door and feeling like, hey, maybe a pylon across the top here. And warping some units down or something along those lines. But anyway, Banshee engaging. Looks like it's already been escorted out a little bit. Still waiting for that cloaking to upgrade. It is going to finish momentarily. And that observer only halfway done needs to chrono boost. And that Nexus is somewhat exposed in the meantime. That Immortal might be exposed otherwise. If he can pick that Immortal down, it'd be absolutely huge. But it looks like it actually probably wouldn't have enough health to do. But able to pick off a sentry. Sentry. Nice. Looks like he might be able to get a Stalker on top of it before escaping. But not quite. There is an observer there and plenty of troops. And as you can see, Incontrol still, pinned back in defensive position. He has an SCV hugging that Nexus, and it looks like the Banshee is going to run up and wail. And this is where Incontrol is going to have his work cut out for him. He's going to have to defend multiple locations from multiple attacks simultaneously. And you can see QXC already trying to defend there. It looks like Incontrol feels, yay, go ahead and hit that. That's got plenty of shield. He's going to let that go ahead and take some damage. Try to get some cannons to defend against this attack. And a Raven out of all things. Wow, a Raven with some additional barracks, and it looks like a command center to plop down at that natural expansion in the meantime. Looks like now some Stalkers dropping on the low ground, finally produced to brush that back. So Incontrol not losing a lot, but both Banshees a little bit low in health. And this is really going to hurt for QXC because he invested a lot into that Banshee attack. He's already behind economically, position-wise from Incontrol. Incontrol actually ahead up by 5 Harvesters, and that's going to climb very quickly with this natural expansion. In production, QXC now taking his natural, so not in too bad a position. Surprised he's not recycling these bunkers just yet, but he does have a lot of Marines out. He's continuing to produce the Banshees, and he's very kind of in a very interesting Raven. I suppose to use these Marines to maybe pick off the area. Actually, wouldn't be surprised to see a Viking out to follow this out, to maybe use that Raven to try to pick off the observers in coordination with these Marines and basically go Marine Banshee Raven. As kind of a interesting combination attack, but it looks like Orbital Command upgrading for QXC at that natural expansion. Photon cannons warping in, and actually tacking on 2 gas as well, so Incontrol playing a little bit more defensively. He's also opened up that inside natural expansion, so he can actually take that in not too long. Let's see if he actually decides to raise a couple minerals to do so. Repairing everything on the front door, and this is actually going to be kind of an interesting attack for Incontrol to try to repel, because again, and I really want to see a Viking in here, but it looks like it's going to continue to be Banshees fielded, Psystorm also upgrading, and I think Psionic Storm is really the answer for this combination attack. Is yes, go ahead, let the Banshees be cloaked. Psystorm does not discriminate against the cloaked or uncloaked. So SCV's testing that front door, finding a forge that was just chrono boosted, as well as 2 cannons, a couple Stalkers as well. Incontrol actually not really jumping his infrastructure, really pushing tech hard, just going with the Templar Archives, but still idling at 2 warp gates and nothing else comparatively. He's got a couple units out in the front door, but honestly, against just this army, it could have a lot of trouble, particularly because he's got a lot of ranged Stalkers here, and the Stalkers, particularly the point defense drone, have a lot of trouble. So really actually feedback could be the key here, and again Psystorm, but Incontrol needs to build energy on these High Templar in the meantime, so in a very defensive position now. Might be able to take this natural expansion because he does have the resources to do so, but he's got to fight things off, and there is that first observer pick off, which again is going to limit his map control. I think he still has another observer somewhere on the field. I should check the unit tabs to be sure. Actually does not. Oh no, he does. Okay, I'm actually looking at the wrong thing. Production continues. Caldera and Amulet for again more of that defensive sort of structure peeling for Incontrol, and the Raven starting to scoot towards that upper right hand corner. Looks like he's going to check this third. And I'm almost curious if auto turrets will pick off observers here. I actually hadn't thought about that, using a Raven plus auto turrets to really try to cope and take out observers that are just leaning a little bit too far forward. Chrono boost on the Caldera and Amulet. And I think as soon as you see that upgrade, we're going to see Incontrol try to take that third base. So, Templar Archives extremely exposed. No units in position to defend against this. This could be a huge loss for Incontrol. Looks like the Banshees are just going to be able to work this down, take it out. Big win for QXC early. Actually working out some probes as well. There are some High Templar back there to try to provide some Psystorm. They were able to take out that Raven, but the damage has been done. Ooh, High Templar sneaking back there. Let's see if they were able to get some feedback off to prevent these Banshees to continue from cloaking. But still, losing that Templar Archives is really, really, really going to hurt Incontrol. And it looks like these Banshees still are going to survive, although they're getting pinned back to the corner. Push back here. QXC really, wow, actually had a very good supply count. In the meantime, it looks like he's splitting up these troops off, taking the very injured Banshee back to his main. Incontrol trying to take his third fairly quickly here in a Ghost Academy with Mobius Reactor, perhaps to pick off those High Templar, but maybe we might see nukes. A lot of I want to say gateways, a lot of barracks out there, and it looks like Incontrol just sneaking with that observer to check those Banshees in the upper left-hand corner. But yeah, a lot of troops for QXC. Gonna have some ghosts out there as well. It looks like he is going to continue to pour out those Banshees, and I wonder if he's going to try to fill in with another Raven. And it looks like QXC actually thinking about double expanding. He's got 2 command centers up, feeling very satisfied with his map control. I think I missed a Banshee getting annihilated here in the back edge. Perhaps by that Archon, but more likely by that High Templar. Actually, no deaths yet. Okay, never mind. It peeled off, went back here. Then QXC trying to use that mobility to really abuse Incontrol left and right, keep him on his toes, make it really difficult for him to cope with more or less everything out in the field. And Incontrol actually starting to move out with that attack force while these Banshees are sneaking in the back of the base to do some disruption at the third. But this is a huge Marauder Marine army, which I believe is very capable of dealing with this very small Zealot Charge Stalker Archon composition. The Banshees, looks like they're starting to peel back home, and I think those other 2 Banshees are still alive, so QXC playing this beautifully. QXC almost baiting an attack, letting some of the Zealots charge into that just preliminary force and able to take all the Zealots out as a result. Beautiful play. Incontrol losing all sorts of Stalkers, Comsat, just to check the reinforcements, and with just middling reinforcements there, he's going to continue to charge forward. Looks like sending another task force to just pick the Templar off. Beautiful. And QXC is going to, in fact, double expand. Looks like he still doesn't open up that Destructible Rocks, but taking the gold expansion at the 3 o'clock, it looks like he's also, in short measure, going to open up that Destructible Rocks to take his back expansion. Blink upgrading as well with the Stalkers. And it looks like halfway on that Calderan Amulet once again. And having extra energy on those High Templar would have been absolutely vital here, but looks like Incontrol gonna try to take the 9 o'clock location. I still think he's ahead economically. Yeah, he's way ahead economically comparatively, and it looks like he is going to be able to get that gold expansion up here. But QXC just has a very scary army out there. He's a lot of tech to work with. Actually, he's a medevac now, which makes him even more dangerous. Starting to peel out that destructible debris, but oh no, he's completely out of position for an attack against this planetary fortress at the 3 o'clock. And with a good amount of Psystorms, those SCVs are not going to be able to stop the Immortals from absolutely just pounding through this. Wow, no troops anywhere to help defend, running in. Let's see if the SCVs do gather up. They do gather up. That's going to make them huge Psystorm bait. But the Psystorm actually going to go off on the Banshees instead. The planetary fortress still just getting completely annihilated by those Immortals. And a bunch of Marauders trying to come in and support this. Incontrol needs to retreat with this army post-haste. But, oh, the Marauders actually pinning them there. So it looks like he's going to end up more or less in an army trade, which is not going to pay off for him. He's wow. Still large standing army for QXC. Needs to get a medevac out there to perhaps heal these troops up to make them a little bit less Psystorm bait. But that was a big hit for Incontrol at the 3 o'clock. Able to do a lot of damage to that gold expansion. 9 o'clock gold expansion is starting to run. Looks like there's actually distance mining. QXC down to just 49 harvesters. He's going to have to make it up with mules. He does have a lot of orbital commands to try to refill that supply. And granted, Incontrol doesn't have a standing army currently, but if he doesn't get a move on and go with a significant counterattack and do some sort of damage with all this here, he's not going to be in this game very long, because that income tab, that almost, well, that's about a third faster income, and that gas, really significant. That army is going to grow really, really fast on Incontrol's side. Looks like he has level 2 weapons already, comparatively to QXC with absolutely 0 upgrades, so he's going up against a very strong Protoss army on top of everything else. Probe's actually just idling, waiting, just eager to mine out of that gold expansion, just some scouting Marines with middling health. That's what happens when you're weak in the Terran army. They send you off on these suicide missions to die. It's like, go check out that gold expansion over there. Yeah, you'll come back home. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'll take that letter to your girlfriend or whatever. But anyway, QXC now starting to establish some of this middle position. He's got good luck on that Zelnaga watchtower. Actually going to battle cruiser. And it looks like he is going to do a shift to big air. And this is actually going to be an opportunity for Incontrol if he can kind of catch this And really, with those High Templar out in the field, particularly with that energy upgrade, this could be scary, but there's Colossi building in the background for Incontrol, so maybe perhaps not too worried about this. And this is only a single battlecruiser thus far. Only a single battlecruiser, I say. Protoss ground armor level 1 and 3 medevacs out in the field, and I think this is the scariest thing in QXC's hands, is when he has those medevacs that can fly out in the field and just wreak havoc everywhere. It looks like it's just going to be a patrolling Marine, perhaps. That single Marine dying. Incontrol thinking about taking that additional gold expansion. He's not going to see these medevacs right nearby. They're going to wave to their fellow Marine down below. And QXC, oh, this is such a vulnerable expansion. And it's going to mostly, oh, and Incontrol completely moving out with the majority of his army. He's not going to be in position to deal with this. Did not see it coming. 3 more battlecruisers in production, by the way, just so you guys can be happy about that in the background. But, oh, this drop is going to be devastating. Incontrol's going to have to rely on Storm and actually warping in Zealots, because perhaps he does not have the gas to get in High Templar. Just the perfect timing. That army now starting to push back. Actually, Incontrol got that back there fairly quickly, but lost significant amount of harvesters. And QXC actually able to get back in there fairly quickly, losing 1 medevac. And I'm in a good amount of troops underneath. I'm really shocked that Incontrol didn't take a larger damage than that, actually. Very, very shocked indeed. Blink Stalker is nice. Perhaps that's the difference. The Stalker's able to blink through a lot of that. But QXC, again, immediately able to replenish that army. And I actually bite my tongue because he's at 140 supply. But very scary. Banshee's just camping, just in case there was a counterattack. Going to catch an observerless army out in the middle of this field. Looks like the Observer, Incontrol, very on top of this sort of thing. Looks like he is going to have that Observer alongside, waiting for it very patiently. And ooh, these Banshees very vulnerable to the Blink Stalkers, now going to get taken out. And now it's QXC out of position, trying to remove those Marauders back in the field, but it's going to be very difficult for him to get back in position to defend his natural. Fortunately, he has battle cruisers there just hanging out and waiting, and these aren't as beefy as you might think they are. There is a lot of Stalkers and plenty of High Templar to do some feedback, so we're going to crush a lot of this stuff underneath. The Marauders screaming. There's 1 feedback, 2 feedback, and some Storm as well. So it looks like the Stalkers are, I think they are going to be able to choose through some of these battlecruisers and Colossi, doing a lot of damage underneath as well. Archon's also morphing in to support things, and the Zealot's still running Rampage. Nice little blockade there, and QXC having to evacuate his natural expansion. SCV's running for their lives. Not happening, though. The Archon's trying to deal with what's left of these battlecruisers. Looks like he's going to be able to leave 1 standing, but it's the single battlecruiser hero. Never mind. Only 1 battlecruiser left in that fight, and the Zealots continuing to run up to deal against the Marauders, but it looks like they're going to be able to micro their way back out of this fight. Very desperate situation. Command center burning, trying to float to that bottom right. 3 o'clock position now. Going to be the, I guess, the farm for the command centers. Incontrol continuing to pour his army forward, getting the Protoss air weapons 1, also getting a Stargate so he can get some Void Rays to help cope against those battle cruisers. Or maybe he's going to go something a little bit silly himself. Still some Zealots out here in the middle. I thought they were done for, but it looks like no. They're just going to hang out, take out some supply depots, and another huge attack at the 3 o'clock. They're going to have to back out with between that battle cruiser and the planetary fortresses, though. And that burning expansion, it's still hanging out. Looks like another one just hanging out that 3 o'clock. But QXC in a very desperate situation, down 48 to 70 harvesters. Incontrol also taking that gold base. His army looks fantastic comparatively, Incontrol's, I mean. So it's really going to be some hero battle cruisers and maybe even some hero planetary fortresses for QXC. But this is really looking just awful for him. Absolutely desperate. Absolutely desperate. And on top of that, Void Rays coming out, as well as a Dark Shrine for Incontrol. So beautiful play from him all the way around. Looks like he's going to try to go for a Blink Stalker attack all the way around the perimeter. Actually just kind of exploring things perhaps. Command Center did land. Looks like it's going to be repaired by a mule on location. But unfortunately, that single mule is not a formidable force against these Colossi. It's like, hey, what's up? Oh, that command center, even though it survived a little while, is now just going to be distraction bait. QXC desperately mining that top right base. Incontrol taking everything in the meantime, just wants all of the territory for himself. That lone Marine has got to be crapping his pants right now. Oh man, that wasn't even fair. But Incontrol out of positions, not going to be able to defend here. Actually evacuating, should cancel all of this. Let's see. I think he did. Yeah, he's actually canceling all of that in time. So nice little task force by QXC to at least keep it somewhere in grasp. But still not looking good for QXC. Top right, pretty much, I'm not going to say his only mining base, because his natural expansion still has some minerals somehow. That gold base still has some minerals somehow. And somehow he's actually okay in that backside natural. Go figure. But Incontrol with a huge army lead. He's almost got 50 supply up. Is just going to march up to this top right. right, and QXC's nowhere nearby to help defend this, and Incontrol has to be just cackling to himself right here. Absolutely cackling, like, ah ha 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 ha. Yeah, that command center not long for life. I guess I should call it an orbital command. But battle cruisers, medevacs, and marauders starting to be fielded by QXC, starting to move out into the field. Let's see if he can go tap it and take out this gold expansion. He's got to worry about Incontrol's big turnaround, though. And it looks like he is looking for an engagement. Just trying to comsat around, trying to find Incontrol's army. Has found Incontrol's army now. And let's see where he decides to attack, or if he decides to retreat here. Initially trying to retreat, and maybe some good EMPs could get this done, but the Colossi just wrecking everything. Beautiful EMP catching every High Templar, though, and that's really going to make these battle cruisers even more effective. So even though the ground forces underneath quickly taking it out, but Void Rays out of nowhere. Oh man, that's it. That's GG for QXC. Well played by both players, I gotta say. And QXC fighting on to the very end, but just getting overwhelmed by Incontrol's economy. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. Again, look for fun stuff in the near future.